Alright, let's try this again. Hello, and welcome once again to Diane Writes. I'll be recapturing my browser here, because, you know. We'll get there, don't lose hope. No, it should be fine now, actually. I just had to restart, that's all. No big deal. How am I on this fine evening? Well, it's early afternoon for me, of course, but aside from the fact that I am really tired and my allergies are kicking my ass today, I am doing fine. I'm very excited about tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to do the cover reveal event for A Few Good Elves. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have, the cover reveal itself. We're going to have a preview of the Kickstarter video. You guys will get to see it before anybody else. We're going to have some special guests, kind of intimate in the special guests, in that these are people who are directly involved with the Toy Soldier Saga. Either they've been, participating as a fan friend, creating stuff for it for years, or they've done some work on it, right? Either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're also going to have some raffles. We're going to be giving away the rest of those books that did not get given away in the 500 followers stream, and I'm going to add a couple of prizes to sweeten the deal as well. So I'm very excited. It's going to be so much fun. Oh fuck, I know, Stream Elements. Yeah, thanks for the tip. We know Sable is live. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. Thanks for posting it in the chat. What the hell are you wasting our time for? I know. I'm sorry. It's automatic with the bot, right? Stupid thing. I really don't see how that helps anything, to be honest with you. Okay, so what we're doing today... Oh, yeah, you were up rather late/early there, Claire. It's good. Yeah, James as a tiger roars at Stream Elements. Yeah, wasting our time, right? Okay, so doing the hellos here. Right, James, as always, first in the chat. Hello there. This is probably not in order because I had to reboot the stream, but hello, Claire. Good to see you. Hello, Shadow Malachi. Hi, Masadis. Hello, Purple. Natalia Books, whose book just released. I'm sure if she hasn't done so, me encouraging her to drop her link in the chat will be awesome. It's called The Book of Secrets. Check it out. Right. Hello, James. Yeah, I already said hi to James. Who am I missing? Kafka Jaco. Hello there. Hello, Amelie. Hello, Charmy City. Hello, Satrian. People are talking about food again. You guys gotta stop doing this in my chat, because usually I get up late, right? So I kind of get because I go to bed late. So I get my shit together at about 11:30, 12, which means there's rarely time to eat before I start my stream. So I'm usually hungry by now. So, yeah. I'm just fucking you. Go ahead and talk about whatever you want. I'm just teasing. Hello, Daz. You did make it? Take that work. Damn it. Damn right. That'll be fun. There you go. Kick Bert's ass. Okay. Ooh, neat. Is that an excerpt there, Purple? Or, I guess I'll call you Natalia again, since you now have Natalia back in your name. The hospital was built over what would be an empty slot near Rotterdam, but it was not so empty as it seemed. The hospital was built to give the damaged toys new life, but that was getting a new meaning. Ooh, sounds ominous. James as a tiger prays mentally as he goes to hunt for his favorite food, mountain lion. Mountain lion sounds good. Now, don't feel bad there. By the way, Kafka Jaco, I had to, I'd prefer to know actually that the stream title is incorrect and restart. I'm really fine with that. It's kind of difficult to find me if I don't have the correct information going, right? So, and hello, Stretch. And, and thank you for renewing your subscription, Closet Forge. 10 months. Awesome. Thank you very much for the support. It's really appreciated. Masadi's suffering sigh. Never mind on the cleaning, my water is still shut off. Well, that's fun. Well, at least Stretch is eating something different today. He's eating Chinese takeout, which apparently in the UK they call takeaway, which is probably more accurate, but yeah. Damn you and your food. Okay. Bot needs to be schooled, yeah, says Daz. I would consider doing that article so late in the evening, says Natalia. Fair enough. Maybe it ensures that the stream goes well until you curse at it, says Kafka Jaco. You know what I didn't do was grab my phone. So we'll do that on the first break. Okay. Alright, I got your info there, Claire. Yep, there's the link. Okay, if we have time, we will do it. If not, it'll have to wait till Sunday. Okay, Masadi's Nonza steak Caesar salad angel emote. Yeah, here's my horns. Alright. Captain Chico says, but perhaps we'll give you food ideas for later in the day. My budget and my refrigerator give me food ideas generally. Natalia continues, after a few years, the owner noticed that some toys were moved in the middle of the night. It happened so often that he made notes where he left the toys and found them even in the apartment upstairs the next day. It was the toys that were offered to be sold again, never the toys he needed to repair. He thought nothing of it. It was just something that happened. But when he found knives near the toys, he started to get afraid. Yes. Yeah, Closet Forge. Darth says, feels so weird to be approaching a year with this community. I know, right? Summer camp coming up. I'm really excited about that too. I don't know if I'm going to be alive by the middle of summer camp because I'm doing summer camp, Game of Tomes, Tourney of Tales, and the last half of my Kickstarter. You might be like pulling me out in a body bag. I don't know if I can do this. Yeah. And I'll have just come off of Writer's Conduit. It's also takeaway in Australia, says Claire. Okay. Yeah. Takeaway is opposed to takeout. I busted that latest work download, says Daz. That's great. I'm alive, really, says Sunny. Glad to know you're alive. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Are you okay? We voted for the tradition template, so it's possible. Hype for a food article for summer camp. I like the tradition template too. You can get a lot of really interesting cultural stuff out of that. Very cool. We will make Aaron prop you up. You can do it, Sable, says Daz. You can do it, says Masadi's. Then you can use the rest of the month to make up for it, says Amelie. Yeah. You asked me to clip this and send it to you. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. I can't play it. Obviously, I'm, if I try to play my stream manager at the same time. In October 2021. Okay, yes. James, you're amazing. The fact that you did it. And you keep posting it when I need it. That's really, really awesome. I'm going to put it up here to remind myself to watch it later because it's good for me. Okay. Got to set up for Tourney of Tales too. Yep. Oh, we have a new World Anvil streamer and he's European. Share the info, Amelie. We're always happy for that. Tap in for live. Okay, let's get on the showcases, shall we? I'm going to put the sprint timer up. Italian. Damparo plays. He's Italian, streams a bit before Sable and Aaron start on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Awesome. Okay, cool. I will definitely check him out, because the more the better, and I really believe that, the more international a community we have, the better off we are too. Alright, so this is what I wanted, the request queue. To be fair though, Claire, I hope I will get time, because 777 words is what you said it is. Should not take that long. So, and I specifically did not do the cover reveal today to make sure we had time for showcases. So, okay, there's... I think I might actually. Okay. I'm going to start with Satrium's article on Ezra. I specifically saved this because it's really cool. And I thought that it deserved to have the full article read because it is really interesting. So, yeah, I really, really liked it. Okay, we've also got Dresses by Francine here from Siobhan. I think I've looked at that before, but I might not have, so remind me. And did Erin do it yesterday? If Erin did it, let me know. Right, we've also got a profession article, Time Setter, from James in the queue. Did Erin do that yesterday? All right, otherwise, I think we're up to date. Oh, Cayetan. If Cayetan's here, I have an old request for a part of your manuscript, chapter 1. If you still want me to do that, let me know. All right. Do I want you to redeem a few more points for that? Yes, spend that point again, because I think that that's pretty close to the total of an hour, and I expect that's how long this is going to take. So, because I have like an edit per hour amount in there, and as long as it's close to that, that's fine. But yeah, it's going to take about an hour. That's why I saved it and didn't do it the other day. You know what? Got enough, so now the points are gone. Okay, I'll refund your previous points then. Well, okay, we'll see. We'll see if it takes an hour. How's that? And if it takes longer, then I redeemed a showcase, first come, first served, which I would like refunded, please. Are you talking about today? Or are you talking about before? If it was before today, it has been refunded, right? If it was today, then yeah, first come, first served. Satrium's been sitting on this one since Sunday. He came first. Okay. No worries, I will refund it. There you go. And I won't do your showcase. No worries. Alright, let's get on with it for Satrium here. Did I post the link in the chat? I meant to. I didn't. Okay, here we go. Ezra. Everyone deserves an open ear and a helping hand. Deep inside, Ezra is a good-hearted person trying to bring good to this world. But as a changeling, they struggle with their own sense of identity and hide behind personas they have fabricated throughout their life. Their continued self-deception fuels their deepest fear, losing the little they've learned about their true identity. Love the illustration, by the way. Ezra firmly believes Selûne, the goddess of the moon, stars, wanderers, questers, and protectors of all shape-shifting creatures, guides them to bring good to everyone around them. Well put. Selûne, for those who may not know, is a Forgotten Realms goddess, so this is a Forgotten Realms character. Their parent taught them to be understanding and accepting of anybody, helping wherever they can. Always having an understanding ear for those who are lonely and a helping hand for those in need. Personas. Ezra can take on the look of anybody they have ever encountered, but they do not just change their appearance, They build complete personas around each of their faces. Those personas range from a shallow mass they just use for a very short amount of time, capitalized. Personas is also capitalized, right? And lives, right? To full lives they live for multiple years. So this differentiates types of personalities that they create. Have I got a lag thing going on? I shouldn't have too much of a lag now. Okay, so I feel like I need to clarify here for Claire, right? Claire came in, redeemed a showcase, which is cool, right? I said, I may not have time to do it today because there's one holding. I may have to save it for Sunday, but I will do it if I have time. There is a, okay, so this was from a showcase that Satrium redeemed on Sunday, but it did not get done. And in part it's because I ran out of time, and in part it's because it's a really long showcase, and I thought I should save it, right? So that there was time to do it all, with the understanding that he would make additional channel points spent, which was told to him on Sunday. So now it is Wednesday, right? And you're next in the queue, first come, first served, but there was somebody ahead of you in the queue, right? So what I was asking was, did I need to refund today's points? You said today? Okay, so I refunded them, right? I still might get time to do it, and if I do, then you're welcome to have it. I just couldn't make a promise. Does that clarify more what I was doing? Because I think there's been some misunderstanding here. You seem pissed off. Oh, hey, look at people sneaking into the chat here while I was yapping. Hello, Kalyatan. Yes, there is something still holding here, and I'm not sure if you had a chance to redeem it, like if it was done or not. Right, and I'm double checking. It was chapter 1 of your book. And that's been holding for, according to my thing here, 22 days. Right, so yeah, A Divided Country. I did do that one, didn't I? I think I remember it. There was the... Well, then I didn't read it. You don't... wasn't this the one... There was a girl, she was waking up, she went downstairs with her father, there was some dystopian thing going on. Her mother had... Yeah. No? Okay. Alright, then it's holding in the queue as well. So we'll double check that. If I recognize it when I start it though, then I'm not going to showcase it again, obviously. Clearly there's a big demand, right? So... Oh! Then I don't remember this one at all. Oh, is that in... Oh, that's in your world that you just created. Okay, cool. Awesome. Alright. Can't wait to check it out. That doesn't sound familiar, so... Okay. I'm just trying to, you know, update things and make sure that I'm up to snuff with people, right? And doing... I've been lagging way behind in showcases because I've been busy, so... And hello, Cal Ghidorah. I'm glad to see you. How are you? He answers the question before I asked it with, been dealing with a lot, had a major depressive spell, feeling hopeless, etc. You know, I figured that's usually what happens when you drop off the face of the earth for a while, and, you know, I don't hold it against you at all. I understand that there are, you know, I have limited spoons when dealing with people a lot. I should put the showcase back up. Right, you know, I just try to give you your space, and I know you'll be back eventually. I hope you're feeling better now. And, you know, in the future, when that happens, do you want me to poke you and see if you're all right? Or do you want me to give you space until you come back? I'm not sure what the best way is to handle that. And you are by no means alone as somebody who struggles with that. Like, not by any stretch. Yes, poke you, please. Okay, I promise you that next time I will. I just was not sure. Sometimes when people poke me, I feel pressured, right? When I'm having like an anxiety issue. So I didn't want to do that. So cool, I will poke you. This will happen. You will hear from me. I will go, are you okay? Life-shattering epiphanies are always a bitch. I sympathize completely. Yikes. Yeah, which is why we'll jump in showcases. Oh, the showcase someone else. I'm so sorry. Okay, I misunderstood, Claire. I refunded your showcase. So I'll get, if we get to it, I'll get you to throw that in again. The showcase someone else was same as last time. Right, so yeah. Oh no! And I just, I'm such an, okay, tell you what, Claire, we're square. We're square. I just refunded both of them, but fuck it, right? If you want to do your showcase and we have time, I will do it, and you won't have to spend 8 points because I don't even know what I'm doing now. I just accidentally clicked the wrong button. Ugh. Okay, I did the crystal casting armor, which was awesome. I also have something here from Daz Beetled Garments. Was this done on Aaron's stream? Kafka Jaco says, no, it was half Sable. Okay, Claire's not angry. I'm not angry either. Awesome. I'm glad we're good. Okay. Yeah, Cal says, if I'm dealing with a lot of shit, I need to hear from one of my closest friends. Okay, I promise you I will totally poke you. I think you also said you would finish Kafka article because you didn't have time on Sunday. Thank you for the reminder. Kafka, please post that link in the chat and I can put it up because I have lost the link. Oh, no, wait, this was... Oh, shit. Yeah, I just did, didn't I? The crystal casting armor. Hold on. See if I can get it back myself. Trying to manage my paperwork, and I obviously have no brain today. Okay. Crystal casting armor. Aha! It is there. Good. Okay, so we'll put that up, and we'll finish that up. But first, Satrium's been waiting. We're going to do this for Satrium. We'll finish the crystal casting armor, which is awesome, by the way. I just absolutely fucking love this. And then I will look at Kafka Jacos. So I guess that if I get to, or Kafka, no, I will look at Kayatans if I have time. That's what I will do. Okay. Gotcha, Cal. Okay. No, I'm not pissed off at all there, Claire. I thought you were mad at me and it was making me tense. So, I'm having a right old laugh at your expense, says Claire. Good. Please do. It's hilarious. I'm funny. I think I'm funny too, because I'm a goddamn idiot today. It's great. And you gotta laugh, right? Never take yourself too seriously. Oh, hey, that's cool. Cal met some family, but he kind of reframed his relationship with his father. I did that with my mother, and it was very interesting. You know, it's really interesting to reframe your life by going, I really was the only sane person in a house full of crazy people. I'm a veritable laugh, right? I'm glad you think so. Good. Well, good. At least I'm entertaining. Tap dance. Do. Come for the comedy. Stay for the steak dinner. Okay. All right, so that's the first sprint. Oh, I don't know, Claire. It's text. It's hard to understand sometimes. So, yeah. Um, okay. Yeah. That's another thing. We'll talk about that some other time when I have some time. Okay? Right? Catatensis, being crazy and bad. Crazy are the most interesting people. Well, I'm crazy too, but like, why I'm crazy is because I grew up in a house full of people who were crazy and I didn't know they were crazy. And the problem is that some of these people, like, were the ones who were formative on my opinion of the world, right? So their logic and mine rarely coincided. Their version of reality and mine were totally different. And I have been left with long-standing damage as a result of that. One of which is that Claire is running into right now, apparently, which is to say that I am hypersensitive to tone, right? And that is because my mother would be fine, 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 and then crack on a dime, and all of a sudden everything that was perfectly fine yesterday is a cardinal sin worth, like, you know, the most heinous of punishments she could devise that day. Right? Sometimes it involved a lot of screaming and throwing things. Sometimes at me. Sometimes it involved hitting me. Right? You know, slapping and that kind of thing, really. But so I don't blame her for it, right? Because she was sick and she had bipolar disorder and it was untreated and undiagnosed. It's not her fault the system failed her, but I've still been left with lasting damage. So I have learned to be really hypersensitive to tone, right? If I think somebody might be mad at me, I get anxious about it. I start questioning them. Sometimes I make them mad by my questions, but I can't help it. It's something that I've been trying to get out of in my relationships, and it's a hard fight because it was a survival skill when I was a child, right? It's like training yourself. It's like untraining yourself out of potty training. This is how instinctive it has become now, right? So, anyway, enough about me. I'm glad that your brother has been great. Rowan stepped in for me. She, actually, but she's great. Yeah. Well, thanks, Claire. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry. It's totally, that is probably totally me. Okay, I'm going to get on with the show here. Keep telling me about what's going on in your life, Cal. I am paying attention. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I am paying attention, and I am very interested in the details. I'm just going to carry on with this too, right? And I figure I'm not going to read it on the chat because it's directed towards me primarily, I think. So, okay, so back to personas. This was really interesting. I'm going to read this first paragraph again because we lost. I'm sorry about that, Satrium. Okay, Ezra can take on the look of anybody they have ever encountered, but they do not just change their appearance. They build complete personas around each of their faces. Those personas range from shallow masks they use for just a very short amount of time to full lives they live for multiple years. All their personas are them. Some are just more them than others. This is like being a writer. All your characters have a piece of you. The question is how much, right? Because you can only look at the world through your own lens, so you have to put some of yourself into your characters, right? Between all those different personas, if you look really closely, you will find similarities. For one, Ezra can change minor details about their look, so they try to always use the same slight purple eye color if they can. Using an appearance without this eye color makes them feel incomplete and vulnerable. I can understand that. It's their anchor when everything else changes, something fixed that always stays the same. Also, their love for music is notable, no matter which persona they are currently using. They love playing and creating music, sometimes just for themselves, sometimes for others. If you're sprinting, that is the sign to get back to work. I'm reposting the link, by the way, to Ezra's article, or to Satrium's article, because it's been very chatty in the chat. Oh, I know, Satrium's plant article thingy was really cool. Okay. Anyway. Masks. The most simple personas Ezra calls masks. Masks are always a means to an end and lack most depth. They just take over a face for a specific situation or goal, but hate doing it as it feels like literally wearing a mask and acting out a role. They will only use masks if they are forced to do so or think they can achieve something they could never do otherwise. Wearing a mask feels like lying to everybody around them, and even if they are incredibly good at deceiving people, they really hate doing it. I like them already. Lives. On the other extreme, they have personas they call lives. They create lives if they intend to stay at a place for a long time. Lives are exactly what they sound like. They are complete personas and personalities they live for multiple years. They create bonds and friendships with others, but never let somebody get too close, as they know they will move on to another life at some point. We can't stay in one place forever. It's too dangerous. People fear us for what we can do, and who could blame them? Someone with our abilities could impersonate their best friend, their wife, a guard, or even the king himself, and they might never know. They do not understand what we do. People fear the unknown, and fear brings them to do horrible things. It's better if they don't know what we are and what we can do. Misra to Ezra. They use lives to improve as a person and learn new things while helping those around them. Lives will influence all current and future personas in some form. Yeah, that makes sense, but once they leave a life behind, they won't use that persona anymore. Leaving a life behind can have multiple reasons, but it's never easy. It's one of the hardest things they do, so providing a clean cut by no longer using this persona is easier than constantly being reminded of what they have left behind. Reasons for leaving are usually either fear of being detected as a changeling or the feeling of having accomplished enough to move on and help others somewhere else. I totally understand this. I'm a person who has moved kind of where I am and what I'm doing and how people see me routinely throughout my life. And that's largely it. If I have left that life, it was so painful to make that decision that I never want to go back. Right? So I get it completely. Okay, so I would delete this sentence entirely. Leaving a life behind can have multiple reasons, but it's never easy. The reason why is because you have repeated both of these pieces of information in other sentences here that explain more. I would say, leaving a life behind is one of the hardest things they do, so providing a clean cut by no longer using the persona is easier than constantly being reminded of what they have left behind. Right? Because that fully explains it. This sentence is totally redundant here. And then you know, because you gave reasons here as well. So just, change the beginning of this sentence, ditch this other sentence in front of it would be my suggestion. Okay, true personas. I'm going to quickly double check the chat here because, like I said, I don't have my phone in front of me because I'm... meh. Okay. Internet dorped and came back with the dragon roaring in my ear, says Natalia. I see she's continued to post some excerpts there. New article for A Thicket of Thorns about a doll hospital. Neat. Well, you did not redeem the showcase, so I'm not going to read it. But it's cool. Alright, true personas. And I like how you've used that portrait workshop. I think they do some really interesting art pieces. I still don't find it versatile enough for what I do with it, but for a purpose like this, it's great. Okay. But the personas must... But the personas most close to their heart, they call true personas. Those personas are truly them. At least they see it that way. If you're going to use a comma here, after them, you need or and another comma. Right? Are truly them or comma, at least they see it that way, is how you would put that, right? Or you can use a semicolon or a double dash. Those are personas they are regularly using and feel most comfortable with. If they don't need to hide, they will freely switch between those personas depending on what they need at the time. During living one life, they might decide to switch to one of their true personas when nobody is watching, or spend a few days in one of those personas as some form of vacation. Make sense? Jess. Now, this is your music, right? All of these? Or is this one? If it is your music, and I know you have some of your own music here, I will play it. If it is not your music, at least if you want me to, right? It's all your music. All right, so we're shutting down the background music here for a moment so that we can hear the music. This is another reason why I wanted to show this. So this is Jess's theme song. Oh, a sample of Jess playing Radaville's theme when the storm hits on her viola. And then there's a full orchestral version. Oh, that's cool. It reminds me of some of the more mournful hymns that I've heard. That's really cool. Jess, the fighter and the leader. Appearance. They actually don't know who this face belonged to originally. It's a persona they've inherited from their parent. It was Mizra's goal. It was Mizra's go-to persona if things got tough, and they thought it would be a good idea to give that to their child. Is this all you've got? Don't try to fool me. I know you can do better than this. I've seen you do way more impressive things. Get up and show them what you've got. Or was it all luck previously? Yeah, I don't think so either, so stop pitying yourself and get the fuck up. Jess. I like her. Jess is a natural leader, using her charismatic personality to push others to their limit. She wants to get the best out of everybody, but would never demand something she would not be comfortable doing herself. Totally me. I love her immediately. Oh, Sunny raided! Thank you for the raid, Sunny! Raid! Raid! Oh, hello, Delian. Good to see you. How are you this evening? How did your stream go, Sunny? I hope it went well. We're currently showcasing Satrium's longer article that I mentioned on Sunday. He's got original music and stuff in it too. I was just saying how much I liked this particular persona of this changeling character. I'm like, yeah. This is how I see myself a lot. That I'm tough. I push others to their limit. I want to get the best out of everybody because I want to empower people. But I never demand anything out of anyone that I'm not willing to do myself. She thinks way more analytical. Analytically is the proper form of the word there, right? She thinks way more analytically than Nick, and in contrast to her, she has no problem in fighting for what she thinks is right and to protect the people she cares about, even by force if necessary. See, I knew I'd get along with her. She will still try to find another solution, yep, but won't push it as far as Nick would. Like it. Okay, so now we're in Nick. Their music, harp, guitar. Ezra has been playing theme songs for their friends. This is a sample of Nick playing Balthazar's theme, Your Past Does Not Define You, on her harp guitar. And there's a full orchestral version of this too. Nice. I like harp guitars. Awesome. Harp guitars are so interesting. They sound a bit to me like harpsichords, except they're not as tinny. They have a richer sound. I really enjoy it. Really cool you have original music for everything. Yeah, harp guitars look so wonky but sound really nice. Yeah, they do. They are weird looking instruments. Alright! Cal's getting his vaccine. Good job. I've had my first shot, and I'm waiting for my second shot now. So. Sunny says her stream went well, seeing as she's still not all awake after insomnia Monday night, Tuesday night. Yeah, Monday night, Tuesday night was me in the video editing mine. I got 4 hours of sleep a night. I got 5 hours last night. Plus my allergies are kicking my ass today. Alright. There is an image as a tooltip in the article if I hover over harp guitar. Yes. I know, right? It's such a weird damn looking instrument. Okay. The Traveler and Best Friend, Nick. Appearance. Shortly after leaving home, Ezra met a girl named Rebecca and traveled with her for a few days before reaching Waterdeep. A friendship formed between the two, the first real friendship Ezra ever had, and that made them panic and they ran off. To this day, they wonder what happened to their first real friend. I know it's sometimes hard to stand back up, but they don't know you, so don't let them tell you what you can or can't do. I'm sure you'll be able to do this eventually. But for now, how about just grabbing a drink and hanging out? Sometimes taking a break is the best thing you can do. Let's get your mind off what just happened. Nick. Nick is a happy, good-hearted, and curious person who enjoys traveling and seeing the world. She is open and outgoing, does not think much about what she does, and acts more on instinct and what feels right in the moment. She wants to enjoy life to its fullest, but wants for others to do so as well. She will happily take a step back and cheer on everyone around her. That's cool. Yeah. Nick will go out of her way to avoid a fight and find a peaceful solution for everyone involved. She will fight for what she thinks is right, but only after exhausting every other possibility. She was the first, and so far the only true persona Ezra built themselves. Using the face of their first real friend to do so seemed fitting to them. Their true self. Yeah, I imagine, yeah, this is great. I love the pic. That is really cool. But if they would look deep into themselves, they would realize something. All those personas, all those lives and masks, are not really them, at least not fully. They tell you they move on because they fear being detected as a changeling or have accomplished enough, and they really believe that lie. But that still does not make it true. The truth is, they subconsciously realize that there is more to them than that one life, and they become restless. That's the sprint for those of you sprinting. until they have to leave it behind and move on. In some sense, they're running from themselves. Because buried beneath all of those personas, hidden deep inside of them, there is another persona. A persona they are not even aware of yet, or just choose to ignore. This persona is their true self. This is who they really are. Not one of their lives, not one of their true personas, but a combination of all of them, and so much more. You know, okay, I totally get that, right? And then we've got history happening here. Yeah, house hunting, never fun, Delian. Okay, time for turn your tails things, says Sunny. Awesome. Eli said something about... Oh, hello there, Eli. Good to see you. You've been lurking and making minis. That's great. You have the primer coat on the minis. Painting minis. That's a good song. Cal says, yeah, I still miss working with you musically. Standing on the Edge of Forever has some of the best lyrics I've ever co-written. I really like the lyrics in that one too. Story behind that is that Cal and I were two of the three parts of Gallows Hill, which was a goth rock band that had, we sounded kind of like we're somewhere between Incubus, Succubus, and Evanescence before Evanescence was cool, right? And we had just started developing a following on mp3.com, had a couple of, really successful songs there, and then the band broke up, basically. Long story. That's the Reader's Digest condensed version. Right? We also worked on a project called Avalon Burning, which some of you are familiar with, in which we basically were writing a rock opera about Drista Worden and the first three books in that series, right? So that's totally him and me, right? Mostly him and the instruments, me a little bit, right? I could do a better job of that now, by the way. Me doing most of the vocals, him a little bit, right? And Standing on the Edge of Forever was a kind of a... It happened right before Gallows Hill ended, when I was actually in Maine doing we did a couple gigs together as a band. I went across the country to do it on a Greyhound on a sale they had, right? And we wrote it together, right? And I think it's pretty intense. I would really like to actually see it properly recorded someday. We kind of did a loose mock-up file of it that I have somewhere. I can't even call it a demo because it doesn't even have all the parts, but yeah, we could do something with that now, right? So I would really like to do that, and I agree. I think it's one of the most I think it's some really good lyrics too, some of my best writing as well. So yeah, all right, Natalia's off. Good night, sleep well. With a touch of iced earth, says Cal. Yeah, true enough. Right? Standing on the Edge of Forever was like much more complex than Gallows Hill. I think it's where Avalon Burning was going, right? Yeah, kind of existentialist gothic power thrash. Yeah, that's totally what it was. With a bit of melodic metal as well, because if I'm the lead vocalist, I don't do death metal well, but I've been getting a lot out of a band called Serenia. If you haven't heard of them, you need to check them out. Okay, Discord me that name and I will look them up. Definitely. That's great. Oh, I missed something. Kafka Jaco. Okay, he's house hunting too. Okay. I'll do better. I'll send you links. Excellent. Okay, so we're about to have the back to work growl from the dragon. So I'm going to get back to the reading. Oh, I was not paying attention. I see now that we have instrument, harp guitar, instrument, viola, right? Instrument, harp. Ezra, their first life. Ezra was born in the small town of Red Larch, just a few days north of Waterdeep. They were raised by their single changeling parent, Mizra, who settled in Red Larch just weeks before giving birth to Ezra. Ezra never met their father, and Mizra never talked much about it. The only thing Ezra knows is that he is an elf whom Mizra, is it Mizra or Mizra, let me know, met during their travels. Ezra learned very early on everything they had to know to blend in with others. They learned a lot about many different cultures, their history and language. They learned how to forge documents if necessary, and they learned how to keep people, or how to help people with healing and medicine. They also learned how to play different stringed instruments and how to create music. Music always had and always will have a big place in Ezra's life, the same way it has in Myra's. So for the next few years, both their days looked pretty similar. They worked together on the fields in the morning and studied in the afternoon. From time to time, Ezra helped at a local inn just to earn some extra coin and meet new people. They always enjoyed talking to strangers and hearing stories from all over the world. We have an item here, Mizra's medal. I'll double check the chat to see. Yeah. Cal says, I can do death growls, plus I've been getting help with my singing from my stepson. Nice! I look forward to what we can do. That masculine-feminine contrast that, like Nightwish does is pretty rocking. So we can definitely work with that. That'd be great. Satrian says, I have to add, the next section was the most challenging for me, as talking about 2 to 3 characters using they, them pronouns is not easy without losing the context of the pronouns. That is true, and that's the kind of thing I'll often fix on my final edits. It can be complicated. Auctions? Kefka Jaco lost an auction for a house online? That sucks. Claire says, I'll tell you what, being newly trans and having a full wardrobe of secondhand clothes has led to the creation of a new game I'm not sure I like. Skimpy dress or long shirt, how short can I get away with? It's Mizra! Okay, so I'm totally off base. Yeah. And Kefka Jaco says, and it's a shame since that is probably the cheapest that house of that size and area was sold, but others were just a tad more lucky. Damn it. Yeah, the real estate market all over the world right now is batshit, and I don't know why. The same thing's happening in Canada. One thing that they theorized about in an article I read in the paper is because people now realize they can work from home, they are fucking off out of the big city and working remotely. And therefore they're going, with all the money I've saved on the commute, I can afford to buy a house, so I'm going to do that. It might be a thing. The other problem, of course, is international holding companies buying up real estate so that they can bilk people for rent. So we need to put a stop to that latter bullshit. The first is just market forces. The second is nonsense. I dislike the fact that houses are being priced out of my range, but that's fair, right? At least this holding company nonsense needs to stop. Anyway, Mizra. At roughly 10 years old, Ezra grew really sick. To this day, they do not have any memory of that time. Mizra did all they could to save their child, but their knowledge and abilities eventually reached their end. When all seemed lost, a priest of Saloon, covered in a long veil and colorful clothes. It's actually Salune, isn't it? Somebody knows Forgotten Realms better than me, remind me. Yeah, covered in a long veil and colorful clothes, came through Red Larch. This priest had heard of Ezra's conditions and used the magic of Saloon to cure Ezra. For Mizra, this was a deeply spiritual experience. Mizra always knew that Saloon was there. I realize still is, but you're talking about Mizra's knowledge in the past. So the verb agreement is was, right? Mizra always knew that Saloon was the protector of all shape changers. And you don't need a comma after knew there, by the way. But this event made them realize, and you don't need a comma there either, that Saloon really seems to care about all of them. And they began to worship her, as well as teaching Ezra the basics about that faith. I think that's very clear, and that's a sentence that would have been hard, so you did well. Before leaving, the priest gifted Mizra a small medallion with the symbol of Saloon. Later on in Ezra's life, they will find out the truth about this small gift. They will learn about a connection they have to Saloon, and they will learn about a connection they have to Saloon, but at this point, neither Mizra nor Ezra had any idea about, is the word you need there, not on, about what they had just received or had just gotten, right? Or why that priest helped the two of them. And yeah. I realized that talking in past perfect is a fucking pain in the ass, so. Okay, I'm gonna double check the chat again. You always pronounce it Saloon? Okay. Thanks for the links there, Cal. I can't wait to look at them. Good titles. They use the same in Baldur's Gate 3 now? Okay. So maybe they've switched it. There used to be a site where you could go back in the 90s where they would have pronunciations for different names, right? This is how I found out things like the word is Zachnathian, Drizzt, right? And Menzo Berenson, right? Otherwise, I would have no idea, right? Okay. Ezra had learned everything their parent had to teach them shortly before their 50th birthday, so the day that had been lingering at the horizon for so long got closer and closer. Out of fear of being detected, changelings never stay in a place for too long. Even rarer, it is even rarer that two changelings stay together for an extended period of time. So Ezra knew from an early age that they would, not will, have to leave this life behind and move on at some point. Or that life behind and move on at some point, rather. Because it's past tense. They also knew that after they left this place, because this is Ezra's past, right, Mizra would move on, not will, to another life as well, and the two would, again, instead of will, never meet again. Now that day had come. And I realize that's a contradiction almost, but it has to do with kind of the immediacy of past tense, and it's a literary convention that's technically wrong, but you get away with it anyway. So, English is dumb. Anyway. I always knew this day would come eventually, but this does not make it any easier. The last 15 years with you have been the best ones of my life. I love you, and I always will, but it's time to say goodbye. I know you will find your way through this world, and I know you will do great things. So go out there and be the best person you can be, and Saloon will protect and guide you. Have a great life, do good, and be safe. I love you. That's beautiful. Makes me weepy. Weezer. Gorgeous. Very, very nice. Oh, it isn't Drizzt. No, it's not. As a matter of fact, R.A. Salvatore realized that was a common mispronunciation, and he incorporated it into one of the stories. There was a little kid who met Drizzt, or Drizzt is more accurate, and called him Drizzt. Yeah, that has a sad ending, spoiler alert. Anyway. Kafka Jaco says, or tiefling is also something people are divided over. I believe I read somewhere that it was tiefling, but I think I pronounced it tiefling at first, that is what it should be doing by the laws of English, but apparently it is tiefling. So I read. Anyway. Delian's internet had a bork and came back. Welcome back. Cal says, I think I was more deeply traumatized by Gallows Hill's disbanding than I realized. That was rough at the time. That was one of those reinventing myself things that happen in my life that I'm referring to when I identify with Ezra. I was too. I never seriously pursued music again, you know. I never did. I was like, you know, I think my heart was broken. Anyway. The two celebrated Ezra's birthday together one last time. It's custom for changelings to gift their children a necklace before they leave. A changeling will use this necklace to keep trinkets of all of their lives as a way to remember who they have been in the past. So as a parting gift, Misra gifted such a necklace to their child, already holding the Medallion of Saloon as Ezra's first trinket. This necklace is Ezra's most valued possession. Possession needs another S between the first S and the E. And the medallion is their connection to their first life in Red Larch. Under no circumstances would they part with either of those two. Additionally, Misra gave their own armor to Ezra, an armor that can change appearance at will to fit any persona Ezra might use in the future. That's useful. So after sunrise the next morning, Ezra and Misra heavy-heartedly said their last goodbyes, assuming they would never meet again. Not will. And Ezra made their way towards Waterdeep, leaving their first life behind. Alex, a barkeep in Waterdeep. Okay. As Ezra arrived in Waterdeep, the sheer size of the city amazed them. They spent the first few days just exploring the city, enjoying the bustling and lively atmosphere. But eventually they had to settle down and find a more permanent place. So they created a new persona, another life, Alex. He was a warm and outgoing guy, always open for a friendly conversation. He enjoyed being around people and listening to music. He always had an open ear for everyone who just wanted someone to talk to. In hindsight, he was pretty similar to Nick. In their first few days in Waterdeep, they stumbled upon a nice, cozy place called the Night Sky Tavern. The name by itself immediately piqued their interest, and the moment they stepped inside, they knew they would, again not will, love this place. The tavern is owned by was owned, this was in the past, by a dwarven family who were big music enthusiasts, even if they could not play much music themselves. And that remains true even if they still exist now, right? You need to use the past tense because this is about Alex's experience with their past, right? So all of that needs to agree in past tense, right? For fuck's sakes. Damn these headphones, man. I don't even know how that happens. Alright. Yeah. So instead, they tried to provide a stage for new and experienced musicians alike. Every evening to this day, now you can say that. If they still exist, you can now do that. Right? Every evening to this day, you will find a new artist playing there. Right? Not here, there. So when Ezra heard they were looking for a barkeep, they immediately applied. Alex coin. This is the trinket. Ah, you're keeping track of the trinkets. Cool. Neat. In their first few days in Waterdeep, they stumbled... Oh no, I already read that. Okay. From their first day on, Alex loved working at the tavern, talking to regulars, travelers, and strangers alike, listening to all kinds of music every day, and sometimes even playing a bit himself when he was asked to join in. The two owners made him feel at home and part of their family. That's the sprint, if you're sprinting. Even letting him stay in one of their rooms for the first few months, till he found a place for himself. It quickly became his home, and he, because you were still with him, you can switch to they in the next paragraph, right? It quickly became his home, and he worked here day in and out for the next 5 years. Outside of work, Ezra really enjoyed living in Waterdeep. The anonymity of such a big place allowed them to switch to their true personas regularly and enjoy everything Waterdeep had to offer. They met a lot of new people, helped many, and formed a few friendships. But eventually they grew restless and moved on. As goodbyes are always hard, they just left a written note. They added a strange coin they got as their first tip to their necklace, a reminder of their life as a barkeep in Waterdeep, and headed northwards. Nice. Gotta check the chat now that we're into that. Brainstorm, 5 minutes. Okay. To brainstorm, how could I make the prehistoric, Stone Age to Iron Age in Magic Earth my alternate history urban fantasy setting? Define what you mean by how could I make. What are you looking for here, right? Your alternate history urban fantasy setting, and now you have to decide. I'll do this, right? You have to decide if magic has always existed in the form that you're describing, right? Or if magic suddenly came to exist recently. If it already existed, history is going to have significant changes as a result of that magic, right? The natural consequence of having magic means that things will be different. That is a sign of good world building, to consider that kind of stuff, right? So consider how magic makes things differently in the world today, in your world. Like, what do people use magic to do, right? And then consider from there, if they were using magic to do that now, they're clearly doing it in the past too, if magic has always existed. So how would that have changed existing events? People don't change much, right? Humans have always been as they are. The things that we care about are things that our ancestors cared about, probably things that the monkeys who came before us cared about. It's just that we've developed more sophisticated ways to express things than the monkeys had, and we have different technology now. And it's not even to say that the technology is necessarily better, because when you gain something, you lose something else, right? We're pretty much the same, right? So, yeah. Right, so that is how that would affect things. Magic and fantasy stuff, it always existed, right? People will always use magic for wars. Okay, people will always use whatever available technology they have for everything, right? Everything, okay? When you have a war, your survival's at stake, right? Of course you're going to use whatever is to hand, right? They'll also use it for famine, right? They will also use it for, natural disasters, anything where human life is at risk, pandemics, right? They will always do that. So how effective is magic against sickness? Let's start with that. If magic is really effective against sickness, the Bronze Age collapse might have happened because of yellow fever, right? So if there's no plagues, the Bronze Age didn't collapse. So you either have to find a reason why everything fell to shit at that time that, explains it, right? Or history takes a different course from there, right? And because you're basically saying that it's our world, but with magic, you're going to be making a lot of those alterations and excuses. right? Let's get back to it. Hey Bob, good to see you. Yeah, indeed, it could very well be that plagues would not have had such an impact. Do you have any idea how different the history of the world would be without plagues? Plagues are something that have really affected human history, and we never fucking talk about it. We're not taught about it in history class. They just mention it. There's a solution. See, Amelie has a point. So maybe you need a magic plague, right? Maybe instead of yellow fever bringing low all the societies of the Bronze Age, and leading to the major collapse of the major empires at the time, right? Instead of that, it was a magical plague, and it affected the mages, right? So they could not help when yellow fever became prevalent, right? There's always ways you can come up with this stuff, right? So if you're talking about, yeah, magic is pretty on the hard side in that world. So what? It still makes a difference, right? So you do have to think about that. Daz has a point, but I believe that Cayetan had an answer for this, right? And what is the divide between those who have magic and those versus those who don't have magic? Do the have-nots have to buy magic from the haves? Are these magics affordable? Are they deliberately priced high to keep it away from most? Weren't all plagues in the Middle Ages the result of divine magic? God being pissed, says says Bob. Yeah. Well, that's what they thought. I love those lyrics, Cal. I'm just trying to not to get too far behind the chat. Cal said, I wrote something in a song that describes what it did to me, and this was the breakup of Gallows Hill, our band, right? And our serious shot at music career, right? In Cyclopean ruins, I searched for my place, my half-created musings cast off in disgrace, lost in the ashes of my passions long dead, pondering the meaning of each word left unsaid. Swallowing the pills, numbing myself to the hurt, my rambling madness became puke in the dirt. Straining my ears to hear the silent applause, I find myself surveying the damage I caused. It wasn't all your fault. That sentiment can be summed up in one line. I've sewn my mouth shut, and now I must scream. Invoking Harlan Ellison, which is the most awful story I've ever read in my life. Okay. Terrible. Very uninspiring. Yeah. Alright, Cayetan says, I think I finally know why most urban fantasy writers choose to make magic hidden from the non-magical people. It is hard to make a world believable with magic known to everyone, at least if it's going to be similar to our world. Yes, that is usually why they do it. It's a cheat, and they do it for that reason. You are quite right. So if you're going to write a history could still happen basically the way it did, but you have to think of other reasons. James says, sorry, repost, but if you never dropped music, would you have been a writer? And if you say no, we wouldn't have met. To be honest with you, okay, I knew from the time I was 10 years old I was either going to be my goal in life was to be a best-selling author or a rock star, right? I've tried both. So I never gave up on I tried both. The music one didn't work out. The rock star thing didn't work out so well. Still isn't working out well because rock music isn't the popular music right now, and that's what I like to play, right? You know, I do folk, I like it too, but you know, it's still not a popular music genre. I like metal. It's hard to break into, and the market's more European than it is American or Canadian. So, right? But I still like it. And I didn't stop doing music, I just stopped really taking it seriously as a career. I kind of gave it a half-assed attempt again. A few years ago, I did a lot of traveling around to pagan festivals and, you know, cons and things, and did a lot of performing, and that went nowhere. So I went, fuck it, basically, and I concentrated on writing. Now, would I have still written? Yes. because I've always done both, right? Would I have taken it seriously enough to force myself to get out there, to go on World Anvil, to get on Twitch? Maybe not, right? So it is what it is. Okay, guys, I was going to try to finish Satrium's article first. But I can't. I've got to take a bio. So we are going to take a break. And I will see you when I get back. Alright, we're back. Sorry about the extended delay, guys. We are still going through Satrium's article. I'll post the link one more time. Hopefully this will finish it off. I'm not saying that because I'm not enjoying it. One of the reasons why I saved this was because it was so long and so cool, right? But, you know, we're already at 3 o'clock, so pretty close to. Alright, instrument, cello, Chris the Bard of Tribor. After leaving Waterdeep, Ezra traveled through Red Larch all the way up to Tribor. While not being as busy as Waterdeep, Tribor is still active all day and night. Many travelers and merchants, you need an S in the end of merchant, come through here every single day, and Ezra decided they wanted, ED at the end of it, to stay here for a while. So they built yet another persona, Chris, a beautiful, confident young woman with a passion for music. She quickly found a job at a small local general supply shop and worked there for the next 4 years. But the thing she enjoyed most was playing her harp and singing every evening in one of the local taverns, inns, or restaurants. Ezra could not switch as freely between personas as they could in Waterdeep, but it mattered little. They really enjoyed being Chris and playing music, but when they really wanted to take a break, they were just a traveler coming through town for a day or two. Makes sense? And Chris's bone tooth is part of it, is the trinket. I like how you've got every trinket, as well as the illustration of each person. A few months before moving on to another life, while Chris was playing in a local inn, she was approached, not she got approached, was approached by a traveling halfling, Norris. He thanked her for her music, and the two started talking, sharing stories, and the time just flew by. You need a comma. Yeah, sharing stories, comma, and the time just flew by. Norris stayed at the inn for a few days, listening to Chris's music every single evening, and before he left, he gifted her a small wood-carved tooth as a trinket for good luck. Weeks after he left, Chris noticed they could unscrew the top part of the tooth, revealing a little compartment inside filled with some exotic spice. Before moving on, Ezra added the tooth to their necklace as a reminder of their life as a bard and musician in Tribor. So, a bit confusing here. Is the tooth made out of wood, or is it just carved like wood? And what is it supposed to represent if it is wood carved in the shape of a tooth? Because it's supposed to represent something, probably. So, you'll have to fill that out a bit. Alright, good night, Amelie. Sleep well. See you tomorrow on the cover reveal stream. Okay, so now we got some good ideas happening in the chat to try to help out Cayutan with their mages and magical world, right? A suggestion that Author Goddess made that I didn't mention aloud yet was that power of magic and frequency of mages is tied directly to population. The more of your species you have, the more the magic manifests and the more common it is, right, is her suggestion. And I see no reason why that wouldn't work. Cayutan says, interesting idea, it can certainly work, however I want to keep blood mages as the persecuted ones. So magic has been around for a long time, but it used to be unknown because it was really rare and not as strong. Now it is really strong and commonly available, right? If blood mages are the persecuted ones, that's fine. We usually choose a group to persecute in whatever society we're in. And the one we choose is usually related to the benefits of economics, right? So if it's convenient to go over to the next nation where all the people have green eyes and you over here have the blue eyes, right, and you want their stuff, then persecute green-eyed people and make people think there's something wrong with them, and then you can go get their stuff. It's an old story. Humans have been doing it forever, right? Blood magic, could be the thing, right? And which would also prevent magic abuses. Yeah. Yeah, the Blood Magic's Investigations Division, aka the Inquisition. All right. Yep. maybe the blood mages are trying to overthrow the power structure and become the people in charge, as Kafka Jaco suggests, and then the leaders decided to murder them all instead. Also makes sense, you know, another good thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing that people do that, I think that came out wrong. What I'm saying is that it's a good explanation for why shit might happen that way. Yeah, Bob says magical manipulation ability could be a genetic mutation, and recently science has identified it, thus making its knowledge public. Right? Yes. Good idea, Bob. That's clever. Also, I did see your comment earlier about in America you gotta sing about your truck. Yeah. I don't mind country music. And, you know, I actually really like a lot of it. Right? It's just not what I focus on or all that I do. So, alright. Yeah, nobody expects the Blood Magic Investigations Division, says Kafka Jaco. Yep. Anyway, back to the article. Orba, the life that should not have been. Instrument, 12-string guitar. I like 12-string guitars too. Let's, since I'm on that, let's stop the music for a moment and play Satrium's music again. Cool. Mysterious. Alright. Orba, the life that should not have been. Love the Hero Forge image. At 24 years old, Ezra wanted to move on to Neverwinter. Before traveling off so far away, they wanted to take a last look at their hometown, as it was just a few days of travel away from Triboar. But what they found, you got redundant stuff here. You've got, but what they found, right? So delete but they found. But what they found scared them, and you don't need a comma there either. The town was partially destroyed by an attack by the dragon cult. The strange and terrifying thing was, you need the word was there, nobody seemed to remember it happening or even cared about the destroyed buildings. Everybody acted like nothing had happened. You need the word had. So scared, confused, but intrigued by what had happened, not has happened, they followed the trail of the cult. Traveling as Jess or Nick over the course of about a month, they tracked down the cult into the Mirror of Dead Men. Arriving in the Mirror, Ezra ran into a fight between a few local lizard folk and gnolls, and that would be plural. In a split-second decision, they took on the form of a gnoll, whose corpse they had found just a few hours ago. Not have found, had found. Luckily, the fighting gnolls did not recognize their dead brother and took Ezra in. Ezra never intended to stay for long, but living there for just a couple of days made them realize that there was, not is, a lot of good that could be, not can be, done here. So what should have been just a quick mask escalated into a full-blown life, and for the next 9 months, Ezra was Orba and lived with the gnolls. He became their pack leader, used his knowledge about herbalism and medicine, as well as secretly his magic, secretly, probably, right, to help the sick and wounded. He was still looking for what the cult was doing there, not here, and soon learned that the gnolls seemed, not seem, to work for the cult. They had, not have, been driven out of their original home, and the cult provided a perspective for them. But there was not much he could do by himself, so he just tried to make the best out of the situation. One day, when transporting valuables for the dragon cult through the swamp, a group of adventurers showed up. This was his chance, maybe his only chance, so he took it. Together, the group knocked out the remaining gnolls and started a long process to free the gnolls and local lizard folk from the influence of the cult. As a parting gift, after the cult was defeated, Methuselah, the dragon leading the lizard folk, gave one of their own scales to Orba, And Ezra added that one to their necklace as well. It is their reminder of their life in the mirror. And that is a really gorgeous picture of a dragon scale. Where the hell did you find that? That's amazing. And did I go and get my phone? Nope. Hello, Recon. Recon 419A says, "Excuse me, it's your truck, your beer, and your significant other. You missed 2 out of the 3, so sorry." Yes. Right? Bonus points if you mention Christianity or a small town. Yep, there you go. That is the story. Yay, Masani's Water's back. That's great. Welcome to the channel, by the way. I don't think I've seen you around before, and I think that's hilarious, so you're not wrong. Bob says, with the genetic mutation option, would an mRNA vaccination grant temporary limited magical ability? Yeah, that's cool. Calutan says, I don't know, Bob. Did you get it after the COVID vaccine? Bob, arguing with Recon, says, I disagree. Bad bar dates require both beer and significant others. Yep. Kafka Jaco said, in a funny skits program, they pretended like the vaccination gave people super mind reading powers, but a person was just reading people's Facebook to them via an earpiece. Well, you know, Jamie was remarking that with like texting and Facebook and what we've basically got telepathy, right? You can have an entirely private conversation with somebody else while you're in the same room with a bunch of other people who are listening and watching you. Stretch blitzed his kitchen and he's back. Excellent. Good for you. Welcome back. Also good for you for doing productive things. Sunny says, I should get my water, but I have eaten things and done things with the bot. Good job. Installing the Game of Thrones bot, maybe? Alright. Moving on to the next one. I'm just going to take a look ahead to see how much farther we have to go. Not much. Perfect. Okay. New beginnings. After freeing the mirror from the influence of the cult, Ezra joined, and you've got mirror spelled with 2 E's and an R-E there instead of 1 E, which is how you've had it spelled every other place. So, consistency of spelling is important. Pick one. Right? The Thundercats. Cool. Commissioned art. I like it. I've seen this character before, your dude in the wizard hat there. After freeing the mirror from the influence of the cult, Ezra joined the group of adventurers now called the Thundercats. Together they traveled back to Waterdeep to take part in a council between the major factions of the Sword Coast and plan what to do about the cult. Usually this would be the time when they would, you need the word would there, create another life, but this time was different. This time they did not fully leave their last life behind. They were still working against the cult the same way Orba had been, and the other members of the Thundercats, plural, you need an S there, knew, not know, about their nature and who they were in their previous life. So for the time being, they were, or is this are? This is are. Okay, in that case, let's change everything to present tense. Okay. I'll start this again. After freeing the mirror from the influence of the cult, Ezra joined the group of adventurers now called the Thundercats. Together they traveled back to Waterdeep to take part in a council between the major factions of the Sword Coast and plan what to do about the cult. Usually this would be the time when they created, or would create, another life, but this time was different. This time they did not fully leave their last life behind. They are still, so present tense, are still working against the cult, the same way Orba had, not has been, and the other members of the Thundercats, still needs an S there, know about their nature. I said knew before because I thought we were changing it to past tense, but we're going to keep it a present tense, so know, and who they were in their previous life. So for the time being, they are traveling as their true personas, most of the time as Nick. Ezra always felt, that's the sprint, I hear a dingy thing. Oh! Hello, Damparo Plays, and welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the raid. I understand you're also a World Anvil streamer. Somebody was mentioning you back near the beginning of the stream, and I look forward to checking out your channel. Oh, Claire, yes, I did see. Not sure if you saw my comment about dressing gothic chain clothes with brightly colored charms. Not only can I subvert the purpose, I can enchant them. I think that's brilliant. I would totally do that. Yes, we were indeed just talking about Damparo Plays. So we're going to shout out Damparo Plays here, because I can do that now. Hello, Akimotos, how are you? Good to see you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Freezing. Well, at least you're not freezing on the stream. Akimoto started a new job yesterday! Woot! Awesome! Congratulations! Yes, Damparo Plays, I've been told, is another World Anvil streamer, so we should definitely go check them out. And I understand that they're also European, which we need more of, so awesome. I heard Italian. I don't speak any Italian, I'm afraid. So I cannot greet you in your own language, and I am sorry about that. Reading a couple challenge articles. That's what we're doing. We're finishing up, well, this isn't a challenge article. This is, I'll do it one more time. This is Satrian's article on Ezra, a really interesting character. Delian says, I've luckily managed to avoid sticks up my nose so far, and now I need to know what the context of that was. Stuff about picking noses in public. Is this like a swab for a virus we're talking about? Alright. Yes, I am based in Italy. Awesome. Ah, Recon's a World Anvilite too. We've definitely come to the right place because, yeah, we do a lot of World Anvil here. Because I love it. For those who are new, by the way, and you may not have heard it before, don't miss tomorrow's stream if you can make it. It starts at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UTC, which makes it 10 p.m. in the UK. We are going to be celebrating the cover reveal for my upcoming novel, A Few Good Elves. We're going to be giving a preview of the Kickstarter video. I'm going to have special guests, friends who have been involved in the Toy Soldier saga, you know, a couple of them from their inception, right? And we're going to give away prizes with raffles, guys. Books who've been donated by other World Anvil authors, and I'll throw in some of my own stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, you're not even going to be here. Damn it. Stretch says, my stream tomorrow. I did cancel it, but thought I'd be able to do it. Now I now have to cancel it again as I won't be here. That sucks. Sometimes it's more fun when there's no context, says Delian with the sticks in the nose. Yeah. That sucks. Well, make it if you can. Definitely check out the VOD. It'll be more fun if you're here, though, because then you get to participate. Claire says, so at the moment I have these boots. Demonia Bolt 250 is the exact product if anyone wants to look them up. You showed them to me, I think, on an image once. That are heavy black faux leather and adorned with medium chains wrapped back and forth several times. I was thinking of purchasing acrylic cutesy charms in bulk and choosing my favorites to enchant and tie on with wire. That sounds fucking brilliant. Another thing you could consider doing is checking out your local craft store. They might sell those kind of things for like a few cents a piece, and you can individually choose them. I love it. I love the idea so much. If you do it, you're going to have to take pictures, because that is cool. Okay. Tell Coffee about that. She'll like it too. Or they'll like it too. Okay. Ezra always felt some sort of connection to Saloon. They always somehow knew that she was guiding and protecting them. Again, past and the tense has to agree. So during their life needs an F, not a V, right? As Alex, they often visited the House of the Moon, a temple of Saloon in Waterdeep. After all that has happened in the mirror, and for the first time in their life not being able to do a clear cut from their previous lives, they have visited the temple. I would say have, because this is sort of recent past, right? They have visited the temple another time, and while being there, they had a deeply spiritual experience. Ezra found himself in an endless desert of white sand under a beautiful night sky and the sound of quiet music in the air. Even if they did not know where they were, it felt nice and safe. Taking a deep breath, they walked towards the horizon, further and further. Beautiful white sands stretching as far as their eyes could see. After what could have been minutes or hours, they arrived at a raised stone platform, 5 mirrors standing on top of it. Standing between the 5 mirrors, they turned around to look at the first one, not to just see Nick's face, but the face of a young half-elf boy. My first life, it was so long ago, they thought. Turning to the next mirror, a man with wavy hair and a well-kept beard looked back at them. Alex, I wondered what happened to that tavern. I hope it's still around. You got 2 periods there, one before the quotation mark, one after. The one before is correct, delete the one after. And another mirror, this time a girl, her hair beautifully made and a cello in her hand. Chris, I love playing music every day. It was nice. And then the 4th mirror, staring back at them, an old and kind Noel. Orba, I hope I did well. Then they closed their eyes and turned to the 5th mirror. A bit of fear struck them. The first 4 showed their 4 lives, but what will the 5th show? They did not have a 5th life yet. Taking a breath, they slowly opened their eyes, but the mirror stayed empty. Who are you? Later that, not this, day, they sat in a tavern with their new friends, looking at their medallion and processing what had happened in the temple earlier. Okay, that needs to be a sentence together. Later that day, they sat in a tavern with their new friends, small L, looking at their medallion and processing what had happened in the temple earlier. I would just delete this day, it's redundant. Restlessly, they experimented with the medallion until they noticed, D at the end of the notice, something should be either small or little, not both. If you mean to say small little, you should probably use the word tiny, right? So, of the 2, I would go with middle, or I would go with small as opposed to little. And if you really mean small little, use tiny, okay? On its side, just enough to fit a needle in, and so they did. And to their surprise, the medallion opened up, revealing 5 pieces of empty sheet music impossibly folded over each other. You sort of need to explain where the needle came from, right? And that's a bit confusing. Just until they noticed a tiny slot on its side, just large enough to fit a needle in. They took their mending needle from their pack and did so. And to their surprise, the medallion opened up, revealing 5 pieces of empty sheet music impossibly folded over each other. 4 of them had, not having, a small symbol in the top right corner. The medallion itself, a copper coin, a bone tooth, and a dragon scale. I would say, okay, 4 of them had, past tense. 4 of them had a small symbol in the top right corner, colon. The medallion itself, or long dash, one of the 2. Okay, the medallion itself, a copper coin, a bone tooth, and a dragon scale. Perfect drawings of the trinkets they carried around their neck. Or they were carrying around their neck, I would say, since this is fairly present, they were carrying around their neck, their connections to their previous lives. And the fifth one, completely empty. The medallion they had been carrying for years, the medallion I would make this a new paragraph, right, at this point. The medallion so that you can switch tense more easily. The medallion they have been carrying for years is not just a medallion. It is an ancient artifact. It's the endless score. An item that exists outside of time, with no beginning and with no end, and no origin and with no resolution. Being struck by a burst of inspiration, they frantically wrote, you don't need just, a melody on the sheet with the dragon scale. Just a few minutes later it was done, and the first part of a piece of music describing them fully and whole was born. Orbis theme. A piece that will take them months or even years to finish, but a melody that is truly their own. Okay, I want to draw attention to this because this is a common mistake that I see in writing a lot, right? And it's a matter of style. Okay. This is not a complete sentence. A piece that will take them months or even years to finish, but a melody that is truly their own. That's not a complete sentence. Technically, it should be part of the previous sentence. But this is still fine. So the question is, why is it when other things aren't, right? Okay, because first of all, the previous sentence, if you added that to it, would be Lovecraft length, right? The second, right, is that this could be done for emphasis, and often is, right? Breaking it up into a separate sentence, which is actually a phrase, draws attention to it. It has a poetic rhythm to it when you read it this way, and that creates a focus on it. So that's why that's often used. I use this technique myself, but technically it is incorrect grammar. So hopefully that's helpful. And this too, right? And again, I do that as well. And once this new melody filled the tavern, the divine magic of saloon came with it. I will reread this paragraph because I'm going to illustrate to you the poetic rhythm. This is the rhythm of threes. Friends, countrymen, lend me your ears, right? Never has so much been owed by so many to so few, right? These kind of things have a poetic rhythm, and it starts with, they're in threes. They start with a longer sentence, a slightly smaller sentence, and a small sentence, right? In a reverse pyramid kind of configuration, right? That's, this is what Satrium has done here. I don't even know if it was conscious, right? Maybe not, because I was unconsciously using this rhythm too, but it works. Being struck by a burst of inspiration, they frantically wrote a melody onto the sheet with the dragon scale. Okay. Yeah, just a few minutes later it was done, and the first part of a piece of music describing them fully and whole was born. I'll start that again. Just a few minutes later it was done, and the first part of a piece of music describing them fully and whole was born. Orbis theme. A piece that will take them months or even years to finish, but a melody that is truly their own. And once this melody filled the tavern, the divine light and magic of saloon came with it. Brilliant. That's good technique, right? And that is deliberately breaking the rules of grammar in order to incorporate the rules of poetry. Whatever will happen next, whatever should be one word there, one thing is certain. This time will be different. This time, they won't just be able to move on and build, you've got build here, you need a D, another life. This time, they can't run away from their previous life. They will finally have to deal with who they really are. And this also is poetic, this is a technique now called poetic repetition. Notice that Satrium also did it in threes, right? Whatever will happen next, one thing is certain. This time will be different. This time, they won't be able to just move on and build another life. This time, they can't run away from their previous life. They will finally have to deal with who they really are. Creates dramatic tension, makes you interested, good craft. That's good writing craft. I'm glad I had an opportunity to illustrate that. And then we have some theme songs, which I am also going to play. Good night, James. Lappin for life, and I will see you tomorrow. This was purely by instinct, says Satrium. But I love that it's an actual technique. You remember it because this was writing that you found effective, because it spoke to you in your emotions. So when you decided to write, you unconsciously imitated the things that were effective for you, right? The same way we learn to walk, right? So, yeah, and it's good. It's very good technique, right? And it should never be overused, and you haven't done that. You've been very specific. You've got like tension and you know, stuff like that. Okay, Kayatan says, could you take a look at my chapter off stream and write me with any thoughts and comments or Discord DM? I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. I could do that, or I could save it for Sunday and we could open up the day to one more showcase from somebody else. Up to you. Satrium says, yeah, I guess you're right. It just felt right at the moment. What you have not picked up is tense. You are not very good at tense. You're not the worst I've seen with it, but that's something you need to work on. We all have, you rather off stream? Okay, no problem, Kayatan. I will be happy to do that for you, and I'm sorry that I did not get to it today. Rest well. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Which would be me, not pushing, just asking. Yes, it would, Claire. Go ahead and drop it in, because I've got 40 minutes. I got time. Yeah, tense is my big issue. I hope I was helpful then, in some way, about that. It may have sounded like I was nitpicking, but I'm honestly trying to help. We all have our own things. I tend to overuse adverbs. That's one of my worst techniques. I also tend to cram everything into one big paragraph, which AG did a lot of correcting me on. So, you know, and I've got things I'm really good at too, right? You're always incredibly helpful. I have to pay more attention to that. Well, thank you. I'm glad I'm helpful. This is good work. I really liked it. Yeah, I have the thing in Discord and I was too slow to clip it, but you said it's paid for. Okay, you're right. All right, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna play this music first. We're gonna take a brief bio break, and I will read it as soon as I come back, and that will probably take us to the end of the stream. So, footnotes. Ezra has been creating theme songs for the other members of the Thundercats. They are playing them on various different stringed, you need an ED for that, in world, but I created full orchestral versions of them as well. Give them a listen if you want to, and I hope you'll enjoy them. That's really cool. Okay. I would use either various or different, not both. They both mean kind of the same thing. So let's listen to Radiville's theme, When the Storm Hits. Nice. Where I was expecting that to come in nice. Priest of Thor. Nice. choice in breaking up the music there is so nice. And the drama, yes. All the aspects of him. That's really cool. Nice key change. Do you have a video that plays automatically when I... Well, this video will play automatically, so I'll have to shut it off, but I'm going to follow. I'm going to subscribe. You need better assets that fit your talent, because you do some really great work there, and you know what I mean by assets, right? Like instrumental assets. Because that is a really well done composition. I get the sense of strength, loss, struggle, and hope. That's awesome. Azamar, Tempest Domain Cleric, serving under a re-flavored Talos, the god of storm. Ah! This following of Talos believes in balance, go out into the world and create balance where Talos creates chaos, and the very nature of the teaching is that of vagueness and uncertainty. That's great. Okay. I've heard Balthazar's theme before, Your Past Does Not Define You. I believe you may have done him as an article in summer camp or something, right? But I remember the picture too, but I remember he was really interesting. He was like a... It's got a hymnal quality to it, this one. I like it. Okay, I'm going to pause this and wait for the stream to catch up. Seems to be back now? Okay. Yeah, I made the mistake of playing a video. It just doesn't like me playing videos that aren't like actually in the stream. So I guess I won't play the second song. I've heard it before. I started playing it, but part hymn, part ballad, and it makes me see the difference quite clearly. Yeah, there's a significant change in the middle there. Go listen to it, though. It's really worth listening to. I don't know if you heard my comments there, Satrium, about your music, right? But the first song there, right, when the storm hits, I got the sense of strength, loss, struggle, and hope. And I just, through the whole process of it, that's the dragon get back to work growl. You've got a really lovely sense of, like, you know, dramatic timing. Like, that's excellent epic music work. you need assets that fit your talent. Okay, now I guess you guys see why I wanted to spend some time on that article. I thought it was really well done. Thank you very much for sharing it, Satrium. And it was worth it to, you know, push through it through most of the stream, because it's really in depth. You know, I'd like to say that I never really felt much identification with changelings, because I was like, you know, I mean, do they actually have any real personalities? This really explored the concept in detail and really answered that question in a very insightful way, and I really enjoyed it. Essentially, this is like 6 character articles in one. It's good work. Okay. So I was going to finish this today. We will do Claire's first. Okay. So this is for a book of poetry based on the tarot cards, which is cool. Are you wanting me to read it on stream, Claire? I'm not certain, by the way, that this has been done. No problem, Satrium. He says, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking all this time. I loved it. It was great. It was worth looking at. You did a lot of work there, and it's good work. It's excellent world building. Perfect timing with the cheer. Yeah. This really gives a feeling of a storm slowly building, said Claire about Satrium's work there, and I'm waiting for it to break. And it did! And I had like a calm, you know, eye of the storm, and then it broke. Oh! Thank you very much for your gift sub there, Satrium. That's awesome! And welcome to the subscriptions, Kafka Jaco. That's awesome. Thank you so much. It's really cool of you. Yeah, it's Ace through to King of Swords and Ace through to 9 of Cups, says Claire of the piece I'm looking at. Are you wanting me to put it up on screen, or do you want me to just read it? Kafka Jaco asks, okay, will mine be Sunday then? Because this is yours, right? No, we're going to have time to finish it here. At least I think we are. Yes. I'm going to try. We were here with Origins, weren't we? So, Claire's been patiently waiting, so I'm going to have a look. That would be nice. What's the confusion? Because I said I was going to finish Kafka Jaco's article today too, but I should have time, right? I'm going to do yours first. The confusion is, okay, but you answered the question. Do you want it up on screen? Right? You just didn't want to send the link. That's what it is. Okay, I was just double checking your security protocols here, that's all. All right, I'll just make sure this is showing up. Awesome. And actually, I'm very... Okay, bye, Daz. See you later. And Akimoto's has to get to bed. New job, new roles. That sucks, but come tomorrow for the stream, for the cover reveal, because it'll be fun. Half past midnight, so Satrium's off too. Yeah, it's really late in Europe, I know. Okay, and read it, please. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to hearing this, actually. I have a real interest in the tarot. And I have a real interest, like poetry about the tarot strikes me as something that, like, it's a project I considered. Oh, it's haiku almost. Oh, this is great. Okay, cool. Ace of Swords. A gleam in the dark. Inspiration comes at last. My mind is ready. It is haiku. That's gorgeous. That's perfect. 2 of Swords. A duel of the mind. Decisions are double-edged. Stay still and get cut. This is the shit. Okay, I love this already. Claire, this is great. Are you an artist? If you are, you should release a tarot deck with these poems on each of the cards. That's amazing. Wow. Wow, I love that. That is so cool. And if not, we're going to find a way to do that, because that would be brilliant. And you just have to put it in like a little verse on like part of the, that's, or even, yeah, that's great. Okay, cool. I'm down for this. 3 of Swords. The heart, pierced threefold. Power of mind, body, and soul. 3 blades that pierce deep. Yup. You know what I should do? Here's what I should do. I should do this. Okay. I'm going to do this. We're gonna do a special thing here. We're going to do this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a new source to capture a different window. Let's see if I can open another instance of this. New window. Okay, and we're going to type in Ace of Swords. We just need an image. Okay. Now, I think it might be cool for people who may not be familiar with the tarot to see it in action. So now let's see if I can window capture, second window, I'll call it. Yes, that's the one I want to capture. Okay, now I make it smaller and put it over my face. That's what we need to do. There. All right. Okay, now. Ace of Swords, a gleam in the dark. Inspiration comes at last. My mind is ready. Two of Swords, a duel of the mind. Decisions are double-edged. Stay still and get cut. Waiting for my stream to catch up here. do that. I'm just double checking to make sure everything's still working. No. I think this may take too long. People can look up the cards. Okay. Okay, everything's still sending, but I've got some major lag now. I'm just going to barrel through. If it takes me a while to respond, you know why. Carrying on. Four of Swords. The blade is in hand, moving in sync with my heart. I'm one with the sword. Five of Swords. Red blood stains the ground. The battle is won for good, but think of the cost. Yeah, that's Pyrrhic victory right there. It's great. Six of Swords. Memories of pain. It is time to move on now. The war is over. Wonderful, wonderful. Seven of Swords. Snip! The key is mine! Sneaking into the darkness, looking back smugly. Eight of Swords. A maze of sharp spikes. Panicking blindly, I freeze. My feet know the way. Nine of Swords. Your fear holds you back. Water below will save you. Take the leap of faith. 10 of Swords. Only one way out. Pain is inevitable. Take the fall and rest. That's great. I'm going to put the sprints back up, guys. Okay, that's awesome. Page of Swords. Wooden sword in hand, the will to learn and grow up. Mastery will come. Knight of Swords. Man on a white steed. Sword at the ready he strikes, dueling with the fates. Queen of Swords. The warrior queen. She knows what matters to her and gets what she wants. When I do a reading for myself, I use the Queen of Swords as my significator. King of Swords. His mind can cut steel. No one can escape his gaze. He will find the truth. Oh, you've done this all in different styles even. Oh, this is brilliant, Claire. I love this. Okay, but you said to stop at... Oh yeah, and you did say it, I just quickly glanced through it. This is for a writing project called Tarot of Stitchiomancy, 78 poems for the minor and major arcana, which is exactly what it sounds like, a book of poetry based on the tarot cards, designed to be used similarly by flipping to a random page. Oh, okay, I see. You should still make a tarot deck with these. It's like, you know, in a frame. That'd be awesome. The sword suit is all haikus. The cup suit in progress is prose. The wands will be limericks. And the pentacles romantic era rhymes. That's beautiful, Claire. I want this book. I must have this book. That is amazing. Do you want me to read the cups, or do you want to wait till they're finished? You sent a few important messages. Okay, well, I'm on that right now. Let's see what I missed. Posture check, save check, hydrate. Okay, thank you. Barbaros is like, Sable is the best person in the world. Spread the love for Sable, says Kafka Jaco. Thank you. That's awesome, Claire. Yeah, we were at Origins, says Kafka Jaco. Okay. Okay, alright. I have missed nothing else. If you said something else in the chat, I missed it. Hail, hydrate. Thank you for the posture and hydrate check. I'm not double hail hydrate. It's hot here. Claire, this is amazing. I want this book. Are you publishing it yourself? Or are you, like, getting it done? Or are you submitting these for publication? I really want to see this. This is awesome. Like, I love it. And do you want me to finish reading the cups that you got so far? Or do you want to wait until all of your cups prose are done? This is awesome. See, and I totally understand your logic, too. We're at the 10, so you're almost done there. Okay. So swords are about... Okay, depending on what suit or what deck you use, swords represent either fire or air. More commonly, they're used to represent air. Right? Even though originally, yeah, right? It should be the other way around by the traditional Kabbalistic symbolism, but it was something that was deliberately done to, well, I don't know, it depends on who you ask. Like, stuff with Alexandrian origins tends to do it as swords are air and wands are fire, and stuff with Garnerian origins tends to do it the other way around, and it's one of the significant differences in their traditions. But, okay, so swords, assuming that they're air, right, are about a sharp mind, right? The intellect and thinking. They're associated with the element of like, and also travel, right? And war as well. That's part of it, conflict, right? So, they tend to, this is a very sharp mind kind of thing, and the haiku is the perfect choice because it's, you say a lot in a little, and it's an exercise in cleverness. You'll be publishing it yourself, print on demand. Kefka Jago said, oh lol, I thought you just said Hail Hydra. It's a deliberate pun. It came from Rowan. She's the one that started that, and now it's all over the ASC. Hail Hydrate. And I understand she gets it from the medieval recreationists that she plays with. So, okay, yes, please read the cups. Okay, so I will, right? Cups are the water suit. So they're also the emotions. So the prose is a perfect choice because it's flowing and says what it needs to say and doesn't necessarily fit structure, right? Okay. Ace of Cups. The vessel of the heart and mind overflows with love, creativity, and compassion. Why worry about the past or future when in this present moment you are the epitome of potential, the stream of pure love that flows through the stars and into the hearts of humanity? What Claire is doing with this and why I am so impressed with it is because she is capturing what the card is about, what it is supposed to symbolize in these brief phrases and words. And haikus in, the swords case. Yeah, she says that the wands will be limerick and the limericks, and the pentacles romantic era rhymes. Wands in this case, therefore, being about fire, since the swords are about air. Wands are the suit of like energy and creativity, right? It's dynamic and passionate like fire, right? So limericks are perfect because they have a sense of humor and they're, that's great. And the pentacles with romantic era rhymes. Pentacle is the earth element. It tends to be, grounded in like real world things, but also the body. The romantic era rhymes has a structure, right? And again, the structure is good. So, okay, moving on. Like, I totally see what you're doing, and it's great. Two of Cups. When two cups pour into each other, their energy intermingles in a sacred connection. What is mixed shall never separate. the two vessels becoming one as their light pours out infinitely into the world around them. 3 of Cups. Love it, by the way. The vessels of strong wine are passed around, clinking and splashing as friends dance to joyful music. The punch of strong drink does little to dampen their spirits, and the celebration continues long into the night. When victory is shared and triumph celebrated, rivals become friends, if only for a night, and true joy is found in the company of peers. This card has an image of usually 3 women in like carefree dresses, usually with one's blonde, one's redheaded, and one's brunette, dancing in a circle with cups of wine. Right? So, one of my favorite cards. I like it. 4 of Cups. A man sits under the olive tree, thinking of what was, what is, and what could be. Offered some refreshments, he peers up to see the sun setting, 3 cups of water left to go stale. He has been thinking deeply and missed much, but none of his thoughts and breakthroughs can he recall. I really like that. That's great. These are good ways to remember things also about what the cards are about. When I do readings with this one, I describe this card as the grass is always greener. Okay? 5 of Cups. The losses of yesterday clouding his mind, he can only see what once was and no longer is. There is no hope for a man who cannot see what is right in front of him, blinded by a past and memories that no longer serve him. Only by focusing on the present can he see the bridge to the future. Yeah, this is the one of somebody like daydreaming, right? Oh, wait, no, Cups, no, this is, no, that's the other one. Okay, no, this is the, yeah, no, it's great, it's great. 6 of Cups. He prepares his gift lovingly and in earnest, picking daisies, dandelions, and clover to add to the paper vase. Surely this will smooth things over with the little boy's girlfriend. Remember when the simplest things brought such joy, when we didn't need to worry about the intrigue of adult life? Yeah. 7 of Cups. Just one more fix, eh? That was what I thought, but it was one fix too many. Looking out the hospital window, I see a kid walk up to a van. Kinda reminds me of myself all those years ago. If only I had done what he's doing, putting a mean dent in the paneling and walking away. Nice, nice. I like that one a lot. 8 of Cups. Running for 3 days, that's all he'd been doing. Running from regret, disappointment, pain. Seeing some children playing in a park, he adjusted his course. He would no longer run from his past, but instead run headlong into a greater future. 9 of Cups. As the sun is setting, the whistle blows to let the construction workers off the clock. Headed to the pub, they enjoy a beer or two and joke around, letting off some steam, but being careful not to overindulge. They have another full day of work ahead. 10 of Cups. Pragma, one of the 8 types of love in the ancient Greek language. An unconditional love, it is that shared between a deity and a worshipper. This love is based not on the fervor of offerings or the gains of worshipping a divine power, but on the sacred bond between the mortal and divine. That is amazing stuff, Claire. Let me know when the book goes live. I want it. All right, let's see what I missed. Awesome. Thank you, then. I will gladly accept the free copy of the book. That is really cool. And I will be delighted to, I'll write you reviews and whatever else, because that's amazing. That's beautiful. I love it. Oh my, I learned something new today, says Kefka Jacob. That 8 of Cups was inspired heavily by a famous movie. Yeah, okay. Which one? Because I didn't catch it. Oh, thank you. It's based on the Rider-Waite Smith. Yeah, okay, so that'll be air for swords and wands for fire. And yeah, and that's great. Okay. Free signed copy? Yes, that's awesome, Claire. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. I can't wait. I'm really excited about this. This is awesome. Yeah, let me know when it's up. We'll promote it all over the place. It'll be great. Okay, last but not least, we have 8 minutes. Can we do it? I doubt it. We might be able to. We were on Origins. Let's give it a try. But either way, we're going to finish it because I promised and we're going to do it. This is Kefka Jaco's article. We were looking at it on Sunday. It's his crystal casting armor. Oh, Forrest Gump, right? Okay, of course. It's been a while. So I'll remind you guys of this article with the beautiful art made in Hero Forge. Really well done, right? The really nice layout, the clear explanations of the different elemental powers. They come in your basic variety of earth, air, water, and fire. Tremble crystal for earth, cloud crystal for air, sea crystal for water, and ember crystal for fire, right? He's done some amazing work here, and this stuff's really interesting. Now, Origins is where we were. The casting armors find their origin in Illyrium, one of the successor nations of the Avaronian Empire. Like my Avalonian Empire? That's pretty close. Oh, well, whatever. It's not certain when the first version of these armors were created. What historians do know is that they became more commonplace between 700 AE and 800 AE. Many of the aristocratic families of Illyrium claim to have been the first creators of the casting armors, but so far no convincing evidence has been put forth. By the way, if you did get it from me, that's awesome, because imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Okay. Magi Covenant War. Cool. Thanks. You're the best. Alright. By the year 891 AE, the use of casting armors was commonplace, and all of the most powerful families in Illyrium had at least one. Many of the armors were even exported towards the other elven countries of the Magi Covenant, such as Mervidel and Cavonia. Nice. Magi Covenant has a link. The elemental crystals used in the creation of the armors were becoming high in demand as well. Illyrium soon rose rather quickly in power thanks to the large money influx. That's the sprint for those of you sprinting. One note is that you spelled Illyrium here differently than you spelled it here. Here you've got an AE at the beginning, and here you only have an A. Like I said before in Satrium's article, pick one spelling and stick with it. Consistency is important. Alright. Thingy? Oh, wow. Holy crap there, Coffee. That's awesome. The name was before I heard of your Avalonian? Okay, that's cool. I was just teasing you anyway, like I said. Okay, join the fight. The time has come to rise up against the oppressors of the Covenant. Illyrium will not give in. Join our cause and protect the Illyrium way of life. Covenant war propaganda. Nice. I should do something like that. That's a good idea for some of my Elven War posters. I should make my Elven War posters. Okay. Storm Battle. One of the more famous battles during the Covenant War is the battle that ensued in the very early days. The armies of both Cavonia and Mervidel were marching through the hills of northern Illyrium when a caster using a casting armor was flying over them. The general at that time was unsure what he was seeing and first thought it was a bird. Afterwards, a larger number of flying casters flew overhead and launched lightning bolts over the entire battlefront, which gave the battle its name. Yeah, that makes sense. And suddenly, now we have to deal with air supremacy, right? Just like airplanes. Way to go for thinking of that, by the way. When the other Magi Covenant members decided to force a lower price for elemental crystals and all the items created with it, Illyrium decided to leave the Confederation. Both Mirvidel and Cavonia did not agree with their sudden loss of access to the resource, and a war ensued. During this war, the use of the casting armors proved its worth as Illyrium managed to drive both nations back and even conquer some new lands. In the end, the magical superiority of Illyrium proved too much for the remaining members of the Covenant, and a peace treaty was signed. From that moment on, the use of the casting armors has only been on the rise in Illyrium. Yeah, that makes sense. They made war over the war resources. Cool. Spread. After the war with Magi Covenant, the other nations attempted to create these armors, you need an S there, as well. Although they were often not as good as the Illyrium kind, other nations did manage to recreate them, because people will. But due to limited resources in their home countries, their use was not as large as in Illyrium. Mirvidel was the only other nation in Farless able to create a decent amount of casting armors, since they had a large source of ember crystals. Interesting. Why? Right? You don't have to tell us, but you have to know. Why is it that these crystals flourish only in this one nation really a lot, and not in others, right? It can't just be because I want it to and it's cool. There should be some reason why that happened. If you know it, cool. You don't have to tell the reader, but be aware of what it is. Okay, because then you'll make it consistent. Although the casting crystal armors are the oldest technique for using elemental crystals in clothing, variations have been created over time as well. The most famous recent example is the elemental armors created by the Onaragan nations. These armors actually allow non-casters to use elemental powers. Nice, non-casters needs a dash, by the way. In recent history, the Onaragan nations even started militarizing this new technique. Fucking right. People should be really scared about that. If the balance of power has been created by mages using these elemental armors, then suddenly non-casters have mage elemental powers? Fuck me! This is like the invention of firearms, right? Which put lethal technology in the hands of people that needed a very minimal amount of training. Right, as opposed to training for years and giving up your whole life to be a knight, right? It's, I hope you've considered the implications of it. That's the dragon got back to work. I am going to take a break here to check chat. Oh, overlooked that one, says Kefka Jaco. Merry Pride! Indeed, it is Pride Month. Pride Month is awesome. Happy Pride to everybody who celebrates Pride. I do, so... Claire says, seeing your face light up with joy at recognizing and appreciating my work, you are the kind of person it's made for. I probably am, actually. I've done a lot of study into the tarot. I even have a book called The Secret History, or the secret, the hidden symbolism of the tarot, or something like that, which not only goes into like individual meanings of tarot, which I've, read and studied a bunch on, but also things like, what does a rose mean when it appears in the tarot image, right? Because all that shit's chosen for a reason. I love that stuff. It's a study that can take a lifetime if you wanted to, because it can get so deep. Okay, Kefka Jaco says, oh yes, at one point there will be some new article about them. Mostly it's because magic originated there. Okay. Good explanation. Illyrium. Economy. Originally, casting armors could only be found in Illyrium, and the country made good use of this. Although they currently can be found at other parts of the world, the highest quality armors are still created in Illyrium. Most of them remain inside the country, but some are sold for quite a hefty price, because there will always be someone who will sell anything. Yeah. The largest customer base for the Illyrium armors is located in the human countries of Farless. Since then, there since there are not nearly enough elemental crystals in the human countries to create these, the human magic users are only able to acquire them through Illyrium. Money. Another beautiful picture. Manufacturing. I love the ponytail whipping in the wind too. That's amazing. You don't have to tell me how you did that. That's cool. Because I didn't even realize you could do that with hair in Hero Forge. Where'd you get that necklace? I haven't seen that necklace in Hero Forge. God damn it. We have a professional account too. You're gonna have to share your secrets. Okay, manufacturing. As it is a costly and difficult project to create or enhance a casting armor, each important family has at least one crystal weaver. This is a very skilled artisan who is able to work with the elemental crystals and imbue their power into casting armors. A crystal weaver needs to be both an experienced excuse me, magic user and skilled artisan. The road to becoming one is long and hard, but worth all the trouble, since it is one of the jobs with the highest prestige in Illyrium. Also, clearly the, power of their nation kind of depends on it, right? To create a casting armor, the crystal that is used needs to be brought to a fluid state, a process which can be dangerous. This in itself requires a good amount of arcane knowledge, because crystals in this state have a tendency to, you've got the typo, unleash all energy at once rather violently. A good amount of arcane knowledge is kind of an informal, slangy way to say it. I'd say this in itself requires advanced arcane knowledge. Report number 311-30-1212, Officer Undalier. This morning, Hilarial 35-1212, a loud explosion could be heard in District 5 of Infor. When we arrived at the scene, it soon became clear that the owner of the destroyed building had made an unauthorized attempt at creating casting armors. 3 inhabitants of the building perished shortly after, but one only sustained minor bruises. Said person resisted arrest, and therefore we were forced to use an appropriate amount of force. Appropriate being bash them into an oblivion, probably, or cast them into the ether. The Crystal Weaver then uses magic to move the fluid into the crevices that were created in, or were built into, not created into, built into the armor beforehand. This is part of the process when the different patterns of the armors take form. Once this is completed, the Crystal Weaver will crystallize the fluid again. If this is done correctly, the magical properties remain intact. Many inexperienced Crystal Weavers have a hard time perfecting this final step. You don't need the word on in there. Yeah, I got the sense that they were liquefied by the way they run through the armor. That's really neat. Oh, discovered it only recently when doing the advanced stance. You can flick the hair, actually. Nice. Yes. Okay, at one point, okay. Oh, and indeed, those Onoregan nations are quickly gaining new lands. I bet they are. Heat sucks, says Sunny. 100% agreed, it's really hot in here. Coffee singing lyrics. Sunny says it was not nice when I had to go outside to get to the front office. Yeah, it's even hotter outside. Yeah, of course they don't put that in the report, says Kefka Jaco. Yep, blasted into oblivion. That's what happened there. Okay, I'm gonna have to play with the hair. Thank you for the tip. Okay, moving on to the last bit. Culture. The casting armors are one of the creations that the elves of Illyrium are most proud of, as the families with a magical bloodline are among the most important of Illyrium. Owning at least one casting armor is a necessity in the higher classes of Illyrian society. The more of these armors a family possesses, you need an ES at the end of that, the higher their prestige will be, since the creation of a casting armor is still a difficult and costly project. Having an armor of a rarer kind, such as a sea crystal armor, is held in even higher regard. Armors are often passed down over several generations, and the oldest ones are often put on display. Armors are usually, let's say, passed down over several generations, and the oldest ones are often put on display in the entrance halls of houses. These oldest armors' design form the basis for newer creations, as each family creates different patterns for the breastplate based on the original armor. The family of an elf wearing a casting armor can therefore be easily identified by the pattern on the breastplate. That makes sense. For pretending to be a member of the Avrenium family by manner of copying their unique casting armor design, the accused is hereby sentenced to exile. All copies of the armor will be confiscated, as will all of his personal assets. The other members of his family will not be punished, but will be required to pay a fine of 200 Alir to the Avrenium family. Court case ruling. Nice. Patterns. Here's some examples. Since each family has its own unique design for the breastplates of the casting armors, trying to copy this pattern is a punishable offense. Most of the time, this punishment is banishment, but if one were to sell the copies, the punishment could even be death if it is a pattern belonging to one of the ruling families. That is a really long sentence. Let's see. Most of the time, this punishment is banishment, period. However, if one were to sell the copies, the punishment could even be death if it is a pattern belonging to one of the ruling families. There you go. The people of Illyrium learn to recognize the patterns of the most prominent families from a young age. When they see a family member wearing a casting armor with such a pattern, they make sure to do nothing to offend them. Wrong there, you've got a typo here, you need the one that goes T-H-E-R-E. There are 4 major families in Infor, each with their own flying estate along the Infor crater. Avrenim, oldest family among the first users of casting armors. Velindren, old family, sole users of Illyrium ember crystals. Cambor, old family, main traders in crystals and crystal items. Ilveneri, current leaders, owners, crystal mining operations. Yeah, I should think. Well, you got like 50 likes on this, and between the art and the detail, I see why. And well done. This was beautiful, and it was a delight to read and to look at, and I am glad to have had an opportunity to share it. Commonly could also be subbed, says Claire. She's right. I've got a few seconds delay here, guys. But we are at 10 after 4 now, by my clock, which means it is time to go rating. Does anybody know who is on right now? Let's see if I can find out. Oh no, how could I make that error? I do it even in my rough draft because you're writing too fast, that's why, but I do that all the time. Yeah. I mean, that's some really good work. Closet Forge is up. Eli is up, it looks like. I think we're probably waiting Eli. Oh, Madhouse is up too. Oh, and Travis is up. Thanks so much for the feedback, Sable. I already made the changes you suggested earlier. Awesome! I'm glad it was helpful. All right. So I think I'm going to raid Eli because I haven't raided Eli in a while. I think we raided Madhouse last time. right? And, you know, I haven't raided the Closet Forge in a while either, mind you. So, we can raid the Closet Forge instead, if you prefer. Alright, so, let me know in the chat who you want to raid, if you have any strong opinions. Otherwise, I'm going to raid Eli. Thank you very much for joining me today, everybody. I'm really glad to have had this opportunity to do like a showcase episode. I looked at some really great work today, and I really enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun. Tomorrow, on what is usually Diane Actually Writes, I'm probably going to leave the title as Diane Writes, though, because I probably won't actually write much, right? We are doing the cover reveal event for my upcoming novel, A Few Good Elves, Book 1 of the Toy Soldier Saga. I'm very excited about it. We're going to have some special guests. It's friendly guests. It's not like professional guests, although some of them are professionals, but they're there because they've had something to do with either the development or the appearance of the Toy Soldier Saga, or, you know, they've been there from the beginning. So that's why they're already going to get to talk to my friend Rowan outside of the game, right? Author Goddess is going to be here, right? I'm still working on a couple people. We'll see how it goes. But if that's all we got, they're awesome, and they'll more than cover the hour, I can assure you. We got lots to talk about. There's gonna be raffles, and you also get a preview of the Kickstarter video, because Kickstarter is not yet live. So, yeah. Eli probably. Alright! I'm gonna put up the end screen now, but I'm gonna give it a few minutes to run out, because I know that I've got a lag problem here. I'm gonna wait till I see the Diane Writes end screen here before I go anywhere. That way nobody is going to miss the the raid. So Claire says, or Kefka Jaco says, or Kefka Jaco, I always say Kaf, I don't know why, I'm sorry. Kefka Jaco says, thanks for the stream today, Sable. It was a fun stream. Claire says, it was a lot of fun. Thank you for your feedback, and especially your encouragement. I am down for that. You're doing some good work there, so I cannot wait to see the finished product. That's going to be great, and I thank you for volunteering to send me a copy. That's really awesome, and I will really enjoy it. I already was. Looks like I got a minute or two lag here, so... But anyway, I'm going to close out the vocal part of this just to make sure you guys don't miss anything. I will see you tomorrow when we finally do raid Eli here. Don't forget to shout, prepare to be boarded, because we are the Sable's Privateers. We're starting at 2 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UTC, which is 10 p.m. in the UK. And I really had a lot of fun today, guys. Thanks again. See you then.